baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bite Cairo now won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you, knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hello and welcome to another Blue Monday with Homesick Mac and his slide guitar and his open tunings and artist of the week, lick of the week, and lots of other great stuff. Today, a real specialty. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Thanks for coming. And today, the main subject is going to be Brownie McGhee. Of course, music is most important. Finding time to play. There's this little distinction between finding time to play or making time to play. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in the main section of this today's theme, which is about how to make the time to practice and how to practice effectively. Which means basically us who are quite busy with other stuff, which means we're not pros that have 24 hours of our life for music and sleeping. We're doing other things as well. Good. Hello, Gare. Nice to see you. The welcome song is going to be Corrina Corrina, which is a very old folk song from the 18th century, the end of 18th century, I believe. And basically the reason why I want to play this is because it's in open G, which is a great tuning for that. I've played it in open G for ages. The lick of the week is going to be in open G as well. So prepare for that. And we'll also be doing one of the backup songs that's going to be basically backup for the Corrina Corrina, Where'd You Stay Last Night? And there are so many different lyrics to this song, so I kind of remember what I've learned from the beginning, so maybe they're not totally correct, but I'll do it anyway. So, open G, Corrina Corrina, welcome song, so welcome everybody, let's do it. Corrina, Corrina, stay last night. Come home this morning, hair all tangled up. I love you, Corrina, babe, I need you so. Corrina, Corrina, babe, I need you so. Corrina, Corrina, I never let you go. Corrina, Corrina, where'd you stay last night? Corrina, Corrina, where'd you stay last night? Come home this morning, star was shining bright. All right, Corrina, Corrina, one of my favorite songs, definitely, especially for the slide playing and everything. And I might explain this song in detail in maybe coming live streams. We'll see. Good. All right, how's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Start of the show. Hello, family comes first, of course. Eunice, your family as well. My retreat family. Good to see you. Yeah. This is true. It's been, I think it started as Corrina Corrina. I'm not sure. There's a lot of info on Wikipedia, and I've tried to find some more concrete information about who wrote it and all that, but there are so many different versions of the song, and both the lyrics and how it's played, sometimes fast, sometimes slowly, and all that. And Alberta is also one of the versions of the same pattern. But basically, every blues shuffle can be called a pattern, and then you just sing different lyrics to it. Oh, I'm going to have some great points about this when we come to Brownie McGhee and his way of playing blues shuffles and rhythms and the chords he was using. Joe, just wait for it a little bit later during the stream. Thank you. The feelings are mutual. Geir, how's the weather in Norway? How you guys doing? Good to see you. Time for the backup session. We're going to start off in the, not in this. I'm just showing you the tuning for the open G. If you think about doing that in the background, maybe while I'm playing the first backup, because the first backup is just going to be in a standard tuning E, and the second song is going to be in G, basically the same backup as I played in Corrina Corrina. So you can maybe play above that, to it, with it. So this is going to be a kind of shuffly introduction to what we're going to be talking about when we present the Artist of the Week, Brownie McGhee. So he combined the basic blues shuffle with different chord shapes and grips like E, A, and then instead of B, he would maybe go to the 4th fret with the index finger, and then this, like a third of the bass in the B chord. And so on. So let's just do a kind of shuffly backup in E, and I'll see you in about 3-4 minutes. How about that? That was extremely cool because I just remember some old licks by Brownie McGhee. And since one of the earlier live streams had this request of, okay, you play that back up, why don't you explain what you were doing? So let's do that. I'll try to make it short. So the basic lick was either this shuffly, right, or at the same time. But this is played very briefly, and then I combine it with a open first and second string. Slowly. So I throw in a hammer on the first fret of the third string. And so on. Then I also did this. Where I basically just switched from E to A7, where the G string is open. Right? So, and this lick is going to be very explained in detail in the Brownie McGhee section, because this is exactly how he played Kansas City Blues. Well, I'm so excited about this coming lick explanation with Brownie that I just started doing it here. Then the rest of the licks were this. So basically every lick is combined with a backup. So I never just play the lick. And this was the first one, which is a part of a regular usual turnaround, which can be varied into, let's say, like this. So whenever you think this is going too fast or you didn't see everything, remember that when you come to the replay, which I do hope you will do, just play it slowly. Play it half speed, 75% of the speed, and then just watch it closely. I think YouTube has this option, which is absolutely great. I do that when I'm watching other players and I'm interested. Okay, how did they do that? So that was that lick, and then I also used this form of E chord, which is as a baby D chord. I just move it 2 frets higher, and then you got this E. But then I go to the 7th fret. Now this is a cheater, because up here, this chord is not E anymore, it's G. So why am I playing that chord when I'm in E? It's because I'm actually in this form of E chord, which is on the 9th fret, and then this note B on the first string. So this lick with the second string bend a little bit can also be played like this. And basically this is really a Brownie McGhee lick. And then I also play this part of the A chord on the 5th fret, but I only play the 3rd string, the 2nd string, 6th and 5th fret, and then open the 1st string just for the ringing. Yes. And then this note B, which is a 9th in the A chord, which gives it a little bit of a punch. This was one of the licks in the B. So just the 2nd fret of the 1st string, open 1st string, and I bend with a pinky to the open 2nd string, A7, So you don't always have to play the turnaround between two choruses of a blues 12 bar blues. It's like if you just play this, that will maybe be kind of boring if you do it like 10 times per song. So maybe once you can do that, next time you can just play the lick. And so on and so on. Good. That was the song, backup song number 1. Now we'll go to the open G and play this a little bit slowlier pattern of Corrina Corrina. So why are you taking up your slide if you're not going to play the solo or backup? Well, you can play this backup even when playing slide. So I'm not going to play this slide melody that I play in the solo, in the welcome song. I just maybe grab some chords with the slide. So let's go. Backup song number 2. So a little thing about the audio. I got some kind of overdriven sound in my earphones. So I just want to ask you guys if you're getting the sound that's not really clean, maybe a bit buzzing in your loudspeakers or however you're listening. Just let me know. I'll maybe try to lower the input on the microphones. Yep. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Daddy Slide. Jan, I'll have to bring you back to the show because last time we had this echo in the streaming application. So let's not talk about it. We'll do it better next time. Power Jimmy. Hi. Serbian slide and lap steel attack. Amazing guitar player from Novi Sad. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jonas. That's great. Then I'll know. Nice weather in Norway. That's good to hear. I mean, we had some sun. Nice sunny day in Helsingborg. I just spent all day inside, indoors. Just didn't work. All right, guys. So now we're about to move to today's theme. And the theme is how to practice. The first title on the thumbnail of this video for today's live stream was how to find the time to practice and how to practice effectively. The second one, how to practice effectively, that we're going to keep. But the first part, we're going to change it into how to make time to practice, not to find it. Because if I decide, let's say 9 o'clock in the morning, that, okay, now I'm going to do something very important, but that's not always so easy to do. Maybe I've had loads of other things that I maybe want to do, so my attention is maybe sliding to other things and not about playing, and then I usually take what's giving me a very fast and sudden gratitude and kind of fulfillment of whatever I needed to do, so I'll do that instead. So one of the keys to make the time to practice is to plan ahead. I'm sure you've heard about time blocking, about making a heavy schedule in your calendar, whatever app you're using, pen and paper, doesn't matter. So I've been using time blocking for several years, and that's great because I don't want to know exactly what I'm going to be doing within, let's say, a time block between 11 and 12 a.m. But 11 a.m., 12 p.m., I mean mornings. But I'm just going to decide that I'm going to be playing music. And then within that hour that I maybe set aside, that's the part that needs to be planned as well. So it's not just, okay, let me just play the guitar. I'll tell you, I've been teaching now for more than 20 years, and usually my I don't want to call them students, my friends who are playing guitar, usually people tell me that, oh, I'm stuck in the old routines. I just take up the guitar and then I try to tinker with some of the new licks, and then I go back to something that I already know, and then I play that for 13,000th time. It's like, I know that already. And then they either stop playing quite fast, like half an hour and that's it, or they just do something else, maybe listen to music instead. And then still, when we meet, they say, oh, I should have been practicing more. Oh, before the next retreat, let's do it. I'm going to try to prepare. I'm going to watch the videos, and then I'm going to be practicing and all that. But usually life comes in between, and lots of things get the priority. So the first tip that I have is decide what matters most out of those hours of your life that are free time. Even professional musicians, people usually say that, well, you guys are pros, you can play anytime you want, and you play for 5-6 hours. Yes, but professional musicians don't always have the time to practice or play what they really want to play. Sometimes you have a session planned. Sometimes you have a recording session that you need to participate on, and you need to prepare a song which is for that session. Maybe not really the song that you're just feeling about playing for 3 hours, but you have to prepare. So even professional musicians have these moments of the things they need to do, like a day job. And then we all try to tinker with the rest of the time that is kind of off, and then everything else should kind of be there, represented. Free time, meeting friends, family, watching TV or movies, Netflix, whatever. And then we got guitar playing. So decide what matters most. If it's developing a skill, learning a song, learning a lick or a couple of licks within a song, set that as a priority and plan it. Then you decide when you will do that. That matters most. And protect the zone. Protect that time. If you think I'm very smart and I came up with this myself, no. I've been watching and following some very productive people and very wise people on the internet. And what's so cool is that those people are usually kind of half of my age or even younger. And still you can learn a lot from their very systematic approach to how to do things in life. So I'm going to be sending you in the chat a little bit later on. I'll be sending you some links to the YouTube channels of, let's say, two people that I really admire and follow, which is, one of them is August Bradley and the other one is Thomas Frank. August Bradley just released a video, I think a couple of days ago, called How to Nail Focus, How to Find Focus in whatever you're doing, which is for me incredible because I've tried to find some YouTube videos that other musicians made and where they would maybe give tips of how to do things, which is okay, but it's always like those are people from my own tribe. It's like, okay, I know most of the stuff they're going to tell me, but I like to listen and watch other people from other branches, from other businesses or whatever other areas that might be interesting and learn from there and try to apply that to the musicianship and how to do things. So the most important part for me is to, when I've decided what matters the most and when I'm going to be doing that, let's say within a coming week or maybe a coming month, then I squeeze everything else around it, which means put that time in your calendar, on your paper list or whatever, and just try to wrap around everything else. Don't let that less important stuff slide away or slide away, yeah? Slide players, right? Don't let it glide away. Try to control it. And to help you with this, I think August said that in his video about the focus, is like, take the distractions inventory. What is the thing or the things that are stealing your attention? Is it something that's on your mobile phone? Is it social media? Is it a TV that's on all the time in your apartment? Is it a situation where you can easily reach something else and not play the guitar? Can you maybe prepare the guitar to be very close to you and remove everything else? Turn off the mobile phone, turn off the notifications, turn it upside down, just leave it in another room, and make that hour of dedication to the guitar holy hour. Just don't do anything else. And when you find yourself in that, I mean, I'm applying this. I'm doing this. I've been doing this for years because I've been following another methodology which is quite a bit older than whatever you can find today on YouTube, which is Benjamin Franklin's to-do list and how he was composing his own day and what he was doing when he woke up, what he was doing during the day and how. And then also GTD methodology, which is Getting Things Done by David Allen, which came, I think, in the 80s. So I'm not new to this, but I'm new to being able to do it. Because maybe it's the age. Maybe it's like, okay, how much time do we old guys who still play guitar have left? So let's make some good thing about it and out of that time. And basically, when you're getting older and more experienced, I think it's easier to let go of some things that are kind of interesting. But yeah, which of those things are actually leading me to the goal, towards the thing that I really want to accomplish? I have a couple of songs, my own ideas that I really like to work on. And in August this summer, I'm going to be teaching on the Blues Week program in the UK. And I have a song that one of the teachers is going to be there, my colleague John Miller, an amazing guitar player and a wonderful human being. I just love that guy. He wrote this song that I absolutely adore, and he played it in standard tuning. It's called A Singing Moon. So I'm making a promise now that I'll be assigning the time for practicing my old slide version of that song for the Blues Week. And I'm going to try to surprise him on the spot, because we're going to be playing for each other. We have the student and instructors evenings where we jam and play for each other and all that. So I'm going to be playing that then. So I have my own goal. Why don't you guys make your own kind of statement and resolution of, okay, within like 3 or 4 months, I'm going to learn how to do this or that. And that set aside time for that and just defend the zone. I love that expression. I'm sorry. I know I'm nerdy, but I really love the expression. So it's like you don't find the time for priority work. You make the time for that. All right. So let me know in the chat. What do you think about that? And how do you do now while I'm preparing for the next session, next section? So just write me a couple of words about this. Yep, Blues Week. It's an amazing program. I taught there for, I think, about 10 years, 8 or 9 consecutive years, and then I jumped over one and I got back. And then when I didn't get the booking for the Blues Week, that's why, and when I started my own guitar retreat, because it was like, so what am I going to do this summer? So in February, I decided I'm going to do a kind of a little micro Blues Week or Blues Weekend in Sweden. And then I just came up with okay, I'll call it a guitar retreat. And that's how the guitar retreat was born 10 years ago. And we went for 10 annual years. And we're continuing. Happy Monday. Raphael. Raphael is a video master. He's having a great video channel, YouTube video channel. Mostly about video editing and Final Cut Pro, the application. But he also has his channel about freelancing. And being a freelancer, it might be interesting for us to know, Raphael, how do you find the time for the most important stuff? Do you allocate the time? Do you do the time blocking? Or how do you do it? So I guess you just missed this part that I spoke about, how to make time for practicing, how to make time for the things that matter most. Yeah, I happen to know how old Matthew is, so I think it's the earlier in life we get a good influence from somebody else doing the things that might be similar to whatever we're trying to accomplish. It's very seldom. Well, it depends on a generation, depends on times. When I was like 20 something, I was cocky, really. Sorry, YouTube, I hope you're not going to ban me for this, but I thought I knew the best when I was in my 20s. What do you mean, giving me advice? But I know better now. And I really appreciate when people of young age nowadays can just take it. Maybe don't accept it, but just take it, think about it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nobody's a master, and I'm not, definitely not standing here preaching that, oh, I know that. Yeah, this like 90%. Those 10% can be that if we don't really define what's really important, then the things that we maybe think are important could take our attention and just drive us away. So we kind of slide away from the track. You know, you understand, I need to use the word slide as much as I can in this live stream. But yeah, I mean, I get the point. It's really nice. Great. So let me just throw in those links for you guys. And I'll put them in the chat. Give me a second. That's the link to August Bradley's video about focus. And this is Thomas Frank with the search. I searched for productivity on his channel. I mean, he's got 2.4 or 5 million subscribers and loads of videos. So you might get lost. Just search for productivity and you'll see it. But don't go there now, because now I'm going to play you the lick of the week, which is going to be an open G. And what I love about this lick is that, oh, I forgot to show you this slide, sorry. Why we need to change the routines if we're not happy with wherever we are in life, in our interests, in our ambitions and everything. This is a great thing, drawing, and this illustration I've kept on my computer screen for quite a long time, which means change a pattern. If you were practicing the same way and you're not happy with the results you're getting, change the way of practicing. What got you here won't get you there. I really don't want to, you know, sound like a smartass here, but Q&As. There were no questions about anything of the things that I played before. So we're going to do the lick of the week, which is going to be a melody on slide guitar in open G. And the melody is going to be from Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. It's an old gospel song, right? And I've played that song with many artists. I never really performed it as a solo, so that I maybe could sing it and all that. But the melody itself is amazing. And I was thinking about, okay, which song should I choose for the lick of the week? Because I don't want to, it sounds lick of the week. The lick is this. That's a lick. Okay, I might show you that slowly. Okay. It's on the 5th fret on the first string. So I fret it here with the slide, but then I cheat. I release the slide, just let it go, and then press the 5th fret on the 2nd string, and then I play the open 1st string, so, and this lick is on the 3rd string, and this note on the 4th string, and then open G string, and then either or. Okay, that was a bonus for today. Now, Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. You see, in open G, there is this kind of really nice way to practice the whole melody, and we can play it like in 2 or 3 different ways. So I'll try to show you the first one, which is not really a beginner level, but it's not so complicated. So you start from the note here and open 1st string. So, oh, okay, I'll play it first. Another way of playing this open string is if you fret it on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, where you, of course, you need to dampen the 1st string. So I do that with my right hand, my picking hand. I place my middle finger on the 1st string, and then I pick the 2nd string. And then usually, since I'm only playing the melody here, I don't need to think about the basses. I will dampen the 3rd string here as well. But I will always dampen the 3rd string with my fretting hand as well. And then I place the slide on the 2nd string, and I have that note. And the advantage of that note is that you can vibrate it. If I just play, you have 2 hurdles here. The first one is, so you need to release the slide smoothly, which means you need to dampen it until the end and just not do like this. Because then when you hear also the overtones which are behind the slide here, so I dampen it here all the way down. And then you need to be smooth when you place the slide on the 2nd string. If you remember, in one of the first live streams, I explained how I get this procedure of placing the slide and picking. So I always dampen the string first, then I'm about to play. Then I dampen behind the slide. And then when I place the slide, everything is dampened. So you don't get any more sound than just... So that's the first thing to think about. Now, if I want to play this note, this is kind of more, there's more poetry in this note and this way of playing this than just playing the open strings. Or you can also choose to play and when I do that, I get this overtone of kind of almost an octave higher behind the main tone that I'm playing, which can be very nice, and especially if you're playing with a great microphone or a good pickup on the guitar, so you can combine that. So let's go. So there are also some very nice moments here, because you can use this note here on the 12th fret, 2nd string, instead of this note. It's the same note. That way you can glide all the way down to the next tone. So you can either pick this note or just pick one here. And then also just a little variation of the melody. So what I'm always doing is I kind of develop that as a style or way of reaching notes and playing them, is I always think of how do I want to reach the note, from above or from below, and how long am I going to keep it ringing. It's like as soon as a note is going to last for 1 minute, 1 second, I'm going to vibrate it. 2, 3, 4 seconds, a lot of vibrato, just go wild with it. So you didn't see this, okay, so let's do it this way. So this is a trick that when you pick a note once with a picking hand and then just are very firm with a slide, or this is also nice. And then you have it. Glory, hallelujah. Maybe too many variations on this, but I'm also thinking about the replays. You can go back to this later on and just take a little part of it within that hour that you set aside, or maybe 30 minutes, and just decide that, okay, this week I'm going to work on the lick, on the melody for Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, and I'm going to do this lick on Monday, the second lick on Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. Might work. So I'm just banning some people from the chat because actually I don't have a moderator here who can remove people who are just attacking the chat, whatever they're doing there. So how you guys doing? Should I move on? Artist in Focus, Brownie McGhee. Brownie McGhee is one of my musical gods. If I hadn't heard Brownie McGhee and Sonny Terry in the late 70s and early 80s, I would have never played the blues. I would have never got really hooked on that. Although I've already met my harmonica player in 1979, and we were on the same university, and he was an amazing harmonica player, but I didn't really play the blues at the time. And then I got this record by Sonny Terry, Brownie McGhee, and it just hit me how amazing Brownie McGhee played the guitar. It was like, this is all I want to learn. This is all I need. I don't want to play anything else. There was nothing about playing slide. It was just the chords, the chord shapes, the musicality, his singing, and he was a storyteller. I mean, if I want to be honest, I'm not much of a singer when it comes to blues and that stuff, but I'm a good storyteller. I like to tell a history. I like to tell you about something that happened in a song, and that part I really love. And those things you can really learn from Brownie McGhee, apart from that he is also an amazing singer. But you can't have it all. So I'll grab my guitar and prepare it, because after I've showed you a couple of pictures, and I'm going to even play you a song, or part of a song from YouTube, so that you can see a Brownie at work, and then I'll be explaining some stuff that he was doing. So why was he so amazing? Artist in Focus, Brownie McGhee. This is a picture of him and Sonny Terry, an amazing harmonica player. This is, I think, 70s. Right. So Brownie McGhee was born in 1915, and he died in 1996, 81 years old. And Sonny Terry left us a little bit earlier, but they really marked a part of the blues history and the blues music, Piedmont blues, the folk scene of the 40s, 50s, 60s in America. What they did is that they got together through Blind Boy Fuller, whom I also had as an artist in Focus 2 streams ago. And Blind Boy Fuller played as a solo artist, but Sonny Terry, harmonica player, used to play with him and record with him. And that's how he got to know Brownie McGhee, because he was around in the same circuit, but he didn't play with him until Blind Boy Fuller died in 1941. That's when Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee hooked up together and thought, okay, let's try to do something. And they found this amazing sound, which was totally different from anything that Blind Boy Fuller or anybody else around had at the time. So they were totally unique. So in 1942, they moved to New York and started working this scene, and they really became very popular. And when the 50s came, with the club scene, with Greenwich Village, and especially the 60s with the folk boom and everything, they were really hot, and they played on the festival circuit, they played in clubs, they did European tours. They were absolutely amazing. So what's important to say about Brownie McGhee? Well, one thing, he played with fingerpicks. So this is a second artist that we're talking about that's killing my theory about not playing with the fingerpicks. But I'll keep the thumb pick. Not here in the live stream, but usually when I play live, I play with a thumb pick. So anyway, he played with a thumb pick when it comes to his playing technique, and he picked with 2 finger picks on his index and middle finger. That's what he did. One of the important things is that they also were featured on a television with Pete Seeger, as we can see here. And that was an amazing friendship that lasted for many, many years. Pete Seeger brought them into his show and played some banjo with them, and maybe sometimes he would just let them play as a duo. He also brought in Mississippi John Hurt and many of the blues revival artists of the 60s who were rediscovered by blues researchers, blues writers, and people who were around. So he also gave the chance of Brownie McGhee and Sonny Terry to be there in the show. And there's a story about that they were seen on television and then got a role in a theater play on Broadway, where they play on The Cat on the Roof. So that was also one cool thing that they did. So why do I love Brownie McGhee so much, and why do I think he's so important? He's the most significant figure for me when it comes to acoustic guitar, because if you compare him and, let's say, Robert Johnson playing, Robert Johnson was one of the first guitar players that really treated the guitar as an orchestra. Like, basses did their thing, chords did their thing, and then treble strings were either a melody or kind of a solo-ish filling in and all that. Brownie McGhee did all that, but in another kind of blues. Of course, he did play slow blues and heavy blues, and sometimes songs that were about hard work and kind of what people usually call the real blues. But he was one of those who also played the folk blues, a bit kind of happier, livelier rhythms and rhythm patterns that just took me, because we shouldn't forget that I'm coming from in the beginning, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I was playing country music and some Simon & Garfunkel. That's where I come from. And when I discovered the blues, Brownie McGhee was doing things that were like, wow, maybe I could do this. This is really good. So I'm going to show you a little piece of this video on this particular song.
Thinking about the good times I once have had. Gonna move to Kansas City, go ahead. Gonna move to Kansas City, that's what I said. I'm gonna move, baby, honey, where they don't want you. You know the Mississippi River, long and wide. Girl I love on the other side. Move to Kansas City, Gonna move to Kansas City, yes ma'am.
You can watch this later on. I'm going to send the links to these particular videos in the chat when we're finished. And there's this amazing thing. Hey Milovan, you've seen things. That's great. But did you ever see them playing live in the States? as well. Yeah, so they played until 80s, until let's say 1980, and then they split because they were not so good friends anymore after playing together for 40 years and some. So I don't know. So the next little excerpt is going to be this one.
Walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, yeah. Walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on. I'm gonna keep,
So
I'm gonna keep till I find my way. You know the world is too wide, highways are too long. No need of us being together.
so this is to prove that he was playing this shuffly stuff as well. And then just a short.
Feel that I'm bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running because walking is most too slow. Now give me one more kiss, darling, just before I go. If I leave this time, I may not come back no more.
And so on. So one of the most significant things about Brownie McGhee's playing is not his left hand. It is. There are some amazing licks and amazing grips that he's taking. And I knew Ewan was going to be liking The Key to the Highway. It's one of his favorite songs. Really happy for that. But it's his right hand, what he's doing with his right hand. So many guitar players would play the shuffle. Let's say if you think about Chicago blues, it's just this. I'm taking it back. It's not just this. They would do it this way. And so on. But Brownie goes always pinching with his right hand. If you watch his videos later on, if you get interested in how he was playing and everything, just watch his right hand. He was always doing something. He was like a spider. There was always something happening with that right hand. But then he was a master of damping behind. So if you remember the first little part of the Kansas City Blues that I played, that was also something that if you listen to like fast Chicago blues, electric stuff, there is a very common lick that you play the first and fourth chord successively, like a or. But what he did was he played. He had a guitar with a very quite narrow neck, and he could sometimes fret two basses or two strings with one finger. So when he would play the Kansas City lick, he would play this. So what's happening here is that he's playing two melodies. One goes and the other one is going at the same time. I'm gonna move to Kansas City. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move. Honey, where they won't lie. And he was one of the people who really used very majory chords. It's like there is no seventh here, there is no this, but he just played. But then he goes to A7. So he was very good at these dynamics of which chord to play, which shape of the chord. And then where most of the guitar players would play the B chord always here, he used to play it up here, which is basically B chord, but then with a third on the bass. And then you can always grab this kind of bare chord and then have the seventh of the B. And then he had this lick. And so on. So he used that a lot. And then also he was one of the first people that I've heard who were not piano players that used diminished chords, which is called this, let's say, this diminished chord, but in this form, this grip, which can be taken as a full bare chord like this. But he combined that in a turnaround, and that just blew me away because he did this. This kind of eighth note, kind of jump syncopating note before the beat of this. No, sorry. So the reason why I made my own version of Kansas City Blues that was slowlier, that was more of a kind of finger-picked version, but I kept Brownie McGhee's change of the. So I played it like this instead. So walking down Main Street, going down Beale, looking for the one they call Lucy. Should have moved to Kansas City. Should have moved. But then I would jump into this just to, you know, pay some homage to Brownie McGhee in the middle of my version of the song. So I would do that. And then also in the. And then go back. So that's what Brownie taught me a lot, how to treat the guitar, how to treat the basses. And yeah, one very important thing. He was one of the first players that I noticed played the fifth of the chord in the bass instead of just the bass. So as a B chord, you would play, let's say, either. Used this bass, so this F sharp, and he also taught me this. I played this Hooray Hooray This Woman Is Killing Me in one of the previous live streams, and that's a lot of just regular finger picking. Hooray Hooray This Woman Is Killing Me. That's Brownie McGhee, right? And then this is kind of variation of whatever he did, and then I also kind of. These are two influences on my playing. The one is from Jeff Moldor, who used to play this. Wonderful chord shapes, wonderful changes. This I might talk a bit more in detail about those things as well. And yeah, that's Brownie McGhee. He used this one. this. Many people tell me that, oh, that's Eric Clapton. Yeah, he played that in Before You Accuse Me on the 1992 Unplugged album. Of course he did. But he learned that from old masters, of course. And then you can always make your own kind of version of this. Stop here. I could play this all night. We're already above the hour. We passed the hour, 12 minutes past 10. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions about one of these licks. And I see some new people that came. That's great. Oh, he came and left. Veni, vidi, vici. But he'll be back. Hey Patrick, great to see you here. Great that you caught me live. Thank you, thank you. All right. So guys, questions or answers? Otherwise, we'll have to wrap it up. And I will definitely see you guys next Monday. And I don't have anything to announce. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. There are so many things I've planned and wrote down in my list of good content. So yeah, we'll see. But I'll prepare something good, definitely. Thanks for coming today. And I hope I'll see you next time. Jimmy Burns. Follow Jimmy Burns on Facebook or check his music on YouTube. Amazing guy. All right. Thanks so much for today, and I'll see you next Monday.
It wasn't spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, thought she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Things could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, thought I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top